about how the world ends. I want to tell you a story about how the world ends. I want to tell you a story about how the world ends.
Time. To me, it's one of life's greatest gifts. Without it, there are no moments. Without it, there are no memories. There are no pictures. Time is precious. It's one of the things you can't take back.
To do with the 12 monkeys. They're using time against itself. If they succeed, all of humanity will collapse into itself. You may be left with someone you loved.
Once upon a time,
there once was a serpent.
The beginning of many a story, and yet the ending of every tale.
But however you hear the tale, it's a story. I want you to be certain of one thing. His story. It is a love story.
To tell a story the way that matters, it should begin with now.
Forever is composed entirely of nows.
There once was a serpent.
That only traveled in one direction.
Always forward, never backward.
Until one day, the serpent came upon a demon.
So they created a weapon. A weapon to destroy the demon.
Maybe this time.
Mother Nature doesn't like it when you rearrange her furniture. Nature doesn't break. It only bends.
Tampering with this symbiotic relationship may undo her. Undo ourselves.
The snake is eating its own tail.
Sometimes I think we are just stuck in a loop.
This is us going in circles.
But I can't circle around. Watch everyone turn on each other while we chase the start of this thing all over again.
There is a reason. Clocks are round.
This beautiful cycle, unbreakable until its final moment. Our beautiful, unbreakable cycle.
You're afraid that if we ask the question, we'll have created the answer. It's a story about time.
The end of the beginning, and the beginning of the end.
There's nothing. Nothing, no future.
Nothing here except a ticking clock.
And then, the end. I used to think that the plague was the worst thing that could ever happen. But this destruction of time, it's the end of everything.
There's only one true enemy in this world.
Because of time, everything dies.
No matter what you do, you can't win.
Time was our enemy.
It takes and it runs.
Like a thief.
And a quiet life for me.
It's broken. It's broken. It's broken. There's only now. There's only today. And mothers die for their children. All mothers are important.
There once was a serpent.
That only traveled in one direction.
Always forward, never backward.
Until one day, The serpent came upon a demon.
So they created a weapon. A weapon to destroy the demon.
Maybe this time.
Gang have a plan. They intend to hijack the gold.
Swordsman Li Qingning and his girl have offered us help to escort the gold.
The Chisa gang is quite ruthless. Be real careful. The Chisa have 4 chiefs. Golden Eye, Silver Spear, Iron Rope, Brass Head,
No man is an island, entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If Accad be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. Something led you and me to this moment.
For what?
A mission, one for which I believe you were destined.
Plan for it.
Most of what we know is pieced together from fragments. But it all started with the world getting sick.
We're not God.
Viruses. Mutating. Evolving.
Trust me, there's nothing there worth saving.
Some of us, very few, were immune.
Because of time, everything died.
Can't stop trying to figure it out. How I fit into all this. Serpent, demon.
I never had a successful splinter until James called. You made time travel work. But I never knew why. Until now.
就是要在这个大革命台上，用我们自己的双手，搞出我们中国自己的原子弹。2幺起爆。
2001年11月10号，世界贸易组织第4届部长级会议在卡塔尔首都多哈以全体协商一致的方式审议并通过了中国加入世贸组织决定。
All living things can't travel through time. Just wait a moment. Then another. Enough tomorrows, and you'll be dead. But maybe left with someone you loved, and all the horrible things you've done for them.
I'm not like you. I can't see the whole puzzle.
You are not like me. You are better.
We're stuck in a loop. An endless cycle.
由焰火组成的巨大脚印，正沿着北京的中轴路，穿过天安门广场，直奔国家体育场而来。
41届世界博览会的举办城市，中国上海。
今晚开始，激情的上海迎来世博历史上盛况空前的一次人类文明盛宴。
这是一个欢乐之夜。从今晚开始，发展的中国倾心合力，铸造理想之城。
歼15现在站住经纬沟，牢牢地挂住阻拦索。 稳稳地停在辽宁舰的甲板上。
欢迎乘坐复兴号动车。
同意大型运输机001战机按批准的试验大纲首飞。
It's just so goddamn cool.
Initiate. Splinter sequence. Good morning, Titan.
Well, after the tiny high highs of having a great hotel at the airport and just fantastic security, good job, Stockholm. Low lows. We're not going to China tonight.
In our 4 years of travel, we've shared that life on the road isn't all staged photos and slow motion twirls.
We're Tim and Finn, and whether we're stuck in the mud, stuck in the rain, or stuck at the border, we're sharing the unfiltered reality of it all.
Subscribe to join the adventure on Tripped.
It turns out we misinterpreted how the visas work and, well, the lack of visas. Apparently you had to fly directly into Xiamen and you can't have a layover in Beijing. You can be in Xiamen for up to 144 hours without a visa, but only if you fly direct. You can't do a domestic transfer there. So we are scrambling right now to try to figure out if we can still save that part of the trip or if we just have to kind of pivot and go do something else. So this is the not fun stuff. I don't know why it's so complicated to go there. Anything?
No.
This is fun.
I was crying. Or maybe I still am, I'm not sure.
When you do the research online but like misinterpret it or just, you know, it's not the clearest thing in the world, that's always frustrating. Luckily,
well, it still doesn't say anything anywhere about this.
Yeah, like, how would we have known that you can't do a layover? But I mean, that's the only way you learn is by doing that.
We can also enter for 6 days into Beijing, where our layover is. We just can't, like, fly in between the two.
Shinar. Yeah.
All right, we need to go downstairs.
All right.
The number you have called is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later.
各位亲友们，各位长辈们，现在正值春节假期之际。
Hold up. 插头那一个，左起走弹，左起炮弹，拿上车弹。
Five things give directions to the lands of gold. There is a lost land that occurs in the histories, myths, and traditions of the Phoenicians, Jews, Greeks, and Chinese. The missing piece of real estate was supposedly a part of a larger landmass that the Greeks called Erech or Synesis, the Golden Peninsula, in which Crete, the island of gold, would be found. China called it Chin Lin, Golden Neighbor, and a specific island within this larger area was given the name Chinchu, Gold Island. Similarly, India has tales of Suvarnabhumi, where Suvarnadvipa, the island of gold, is located. Jews and Phoenicians call this land by the most ancient name, the lands of Tharshish and Ophir. Direction number 1 comes from the Bible. The Bible tells us that after the flood, the world was repopulated by Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ancient texts, traditions, and maps show that the lands north of the Mediterranean went to Japheth, the continent of Europa. Ham got the southern lands, west of the Red Sea, Africa, while Shem got the southern lands to the east, the continent of Asia. Eber, great-grandchild of Shem, son of Noah, was the father of Joktan, the father of Ophir. Ophir and his brothers were given the lands to the east of this southern domain. Now their settlement extended from Mesha as you go towards Sephar, the hill country of the east. Being one of the youngest sons of Joktan, Ophir may have taken southern lands of the far east, at the very ends of the earth. The Bible gives us a location for Ophir at the edge of Southeast Asia. But then scriptures often mention the land of Ophir in connection with the lands of Tharshish, and this gives us further directions. Tharshish was the grandchild of Japheth by his son Javan. Japheth was the son of Noah, who was allotted the northern part, above the Mediterranean Sea. We are told regarding Tharshish and his brothers that from these the coastlands of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families into their nations. So we know that Tharshish came from somewhere in the northern region, and he must have gone east, since that's where Ophir went, north and east. The Bible also tells us that Tharshish lived in the islands at the very ends of the earth. So we're looking for islands that are at the very end of the earth, where north meets south. These islands would have at least two very distinct indigenous people groups, the descendants of Ophir, who lived on the hills and mountains, similar to our Aitas, and the children of Tharshis, who settled along the coastlands of the rivers and seas, like our Austronesian people. Direction number 2 comes from 2nd century Greece, Ptolemy's world map. Applying geometry and mathematics to the study of Earth's geography, 2nd century Ptolemy used scientific methods to project the sphere of the Earth onto a flat surface, making a world map that listed 8,000 places, including the Aurea Chersonesus, the Golden Peninsula, where Chryse, Gold Island, could be found. Scholars believe that the area he referred to as the Golden Peninsula is the area we know today as the Malay Peninsula. Number 3. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a guide to navigation and trade in the waters of the Red Sea, Persian Gulf, and Indian Ocean. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea gives us directions on how to get to Chryse, the island of gold. And just opposite the river Ganges, there is an island in the ocean, the last part of the inhabited world toward the east, under the rising sun itself. It is called Chryse. The Periplus also tells us that China was directly north of Chryse. After this region, under the very north, the sea outside ending in a land called this, China. If one were to draw an eastward line from the mouth of the Ganges, as directed by the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, to the last large inhabited island in the ocean, we hit the Philippines. Then from the Philippines, a line drawn north would hit China. Number 4. Documento numero 98. A guide to navigation and trade like the Periplus, compiled by our Spanish colonizers, under the heading Lusos, in the subheading Ophir, followed by these details. In front of this mentioned China and its land, there are many islands in the sea, and beyond these islands, a land very large that they say it is tierra firme, and other islands where every year there used to arrive 3 or 4 juncos with white people that are big merchants and very wealthy, and they bring lots of gold in bars and silver and silk and lots of very good wheat and very beautiful porcelains and other things that the Chinese carry. To those they call Lusos, and those of Malak, Malaysia, say they are better people and better traders and wealthier and better dressed and more honest than the Chinese. The Philippine archipelago, with the large land masses of Luzon and Mindanao, strategically located in the sea between China and Malaysia, with a long history of trade with both nations, fit the geographical details. Pinto, traveling in the service of the Portuguese crown, Ferdinand Mendez Pinto wrote in his journal of his shipwreck on the island of Lusos while passing through Malay archipelago. He described Lusos as belonging to a large group of islands that had abundant resources of gold and silver. In his journal, he had the audacity to give specific details on the location of the gold island, putting it in a latitude 9N20 on a meridian similar to that of Japan. Directions that lead us to the very heart of the Philippines, the northern shores of Mindanao, near Butuan and Agusan. The meridian is slightly off. Japan is around 135 degrees, while Philippines is at 125 degrees. But the meridian was not officially set until 1851, so for someone living in the 1500s, he did very well. The story of his shipwreck was deemed so outrageous that it was omitted from his book when it was first published. This did not stop Pinto from campaigning to the Portuguese crown, who had established colonies, conquered all along the southern coast, as Malacca, Bauda, Maluco, Sunda, Borneo, and Timor, to conquer the lands to the north, and northwards, China, Japan, and Lusos. Someone must have believed him, for a remarkable map by Abraham Ortelius, the Maris Pacifici, the first printed map of the Pacific and the first map of the Americas, shows the Philippine Islands with both its old and new names, Islas de Lusos and Filipinas. An inscription in Fort Santiago, attributed to the Philippine national hero Jose Rizal, says, "To foretell the destiny of a nation, it is necessary to open the book that tells of her past.
And then we can talk about completing the mission.
Dr. Mann, listen to me.
This is not about my life or Cooper's life. This is about all mankind. There is a moment.
It is not.
Cooper, there's no point in using her fuel to
Analyze the Endurance's spin.
Cooper, what are you doing?
Docking.
Endurance rotation is 67, 68 RPM.
Okay, get ready to match our spin with the retro thrusters.
It's not possible.
No, it's necessary.
Endurance is hitting stratosphere.
She's got no heat shield.
Okay, she ready?
Ready. Cooper, this is no time for caution.
Okay, so if I black out, you take a stick. Stars, you ready to engage the docking mechanism?
Endurance is starting to heat.
20 feet out.
I need 3 degrees starboard, Cooper.
10 feet out.
Cooper, we are lined up.
Initiating spin.
10 years old.
He told you, right?
I lied, Murph. Couldn't teach her Einstein's theories before I left. There was no need for him to come back.
You left us here.
There was no way to help us.
You know why we couldn't just send machines on these missions, don't you, Cooper?
Did my father know?
A machine doesn't improvise well because you can't program a fear of death.
Did he leave me?
Our survival instinct is our single greatest source of inspiration. Take you, for example. A father. What does research tell us is the last thing you're going to see before you die? Your children.
You're not prepared for this.
Well, we got this far in our brains, farther than any human in history.
Well, not far enough.
At the moment of death, your mind's going to push a little bit harder to survive. For them.
It's you.
I thought they chose me. Do you have an idea?
Feeling. You were my ghost. I called it a ghost because it felt like a person.
Nobody believed me. But I knew you'd come back.
Now.
Cooper, it's not possible.
No.
Because my dad promised me.
It's necessary.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage. Rage against the dying of the light.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Though wise men at their end, no dark is right. Because their words had brought no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night.
Do you see it, children?
Rage. Rage against the dying of the light.
White J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch.
On April 8th, a large number of African people in the southern Chinese city Guangzhou were driven out by their landlords and had to stay on the streets. Another video shows many Africans dragging their luggage aimlessly through the streets of Guangzhou. One of them says, "We are just walking on the road. They can't give us a house, they can't give us a hotel, and they cannot provide a place we can stay." It comes after all of the cases reported by Guangzhou authorities in April were reportedly related to African people. Chinese media have only reported about testing people from abroad. They haven't talked about testing locals, so we can't rule out the possibility that many of the locals are also infected, but it's not being reported. It's led to discrimination against Africans among local Chinese. One citizen says the Africans staying on the street are a potential safety threat and a virus transmission hazard. Guangzhou is likely going to be a catalyst that ignites southern China.
today we have some interesting stories. We're going to start off with an anomaly that has taken place in China that people are interpreting as an omen. Now, the Chinese Communist Party is holding its main annual conference, and right before the conference started, the sky turned pitch black.
I want to share something with you that I think important. On November 7, 2019 ago, I ever shared a dream about darkness covering entire sky. And today I got the message on the comment section and also an email from Brother Dennis Masibo. He said, "This happened today in Beijing, China at exactly 3:45 p.m. He also shared the link of the video. And this is the email he sent to me. Hey sister, my name is Dan, currently in China, but I'm African. Today, Thursday 22nd May 2020, at 3:45 p.m., we experienced total darkness as you had dreamt. I had not come across your channel till today when I was checking the spiritual meaning of darkness during the day. I have shared the link in the comment section of your dream." So thank you very much for Brother Dennis Masibo for sharing this with us. Let us watch the video.
First off, the sky turns pitch black in Beijing as the CCP starts its biggest annual political conference on Thursday. There were thunderstorms started, and at 3 p.m., people said it looked like 3 a.m. It looked like pitch black nighttime during the middle of the day. Now, this is being seen by many, actually, even on the Chinese internet and even on Twitter. You can see many people talking about it. It's being seen as a bad omen for the Chinese Communist Party. So have a look at some of these videos now. You can see the sky looking like it's nighttime. People even showing their watches, showing their own accounts, stating that this is not in fact nighttime. This is during the day. This is midday around 3 p.m. There was also some videos of the thunderstorms, which appear to be very aggressive. Now, take it for what you will, of course. Chinese traditional culture, this would be seen as an omen, a bad omen, meaning some big change is going to take place. Not all people believe it. The Chinese Communist Party, notably, is an atheist regime. They don't believe these types of things. Again, this is the largest annual conference of the Chinese Communist Party. All the main leaders of the Chinese Communist Party are going to be here. When Xi Jinping first entered, he and the other top leaders with him were not wearing masks, although individuals sitting down in the main amphitheater appeared to be wearing masks.
I know. Taking a movie. Fucking hell. Oh, shit! Oh my fucking god.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay, rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on that sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Last week, we reported that locusts have emerged in northeastern China. Despite theories that they may have come from elsewhere, they were found to have originated in that area. Now, the invasive insects have appeared in 2 more provinces in central China. At the same time, India and Pakistan are fighting desert locust swarms. Speculation is rising if these locusts could migrate to China. But it's considered difficult for them to cross the Tibetan Plateau due to the area's low temperatures. The only other possible routes would take them through southern or northwestern China.
But don't worry about me, I'm stronger than ever. And I've been telling everyone to get their money out of the market and buy some gold. So in the meantime, I invested in gold and Amazon stock, and I turned dollars into hundreds of grand. And I'm on top of the world, and I'm richer than I ever dreamed I would be. So I don't care if she left me and my mama just died, but I'm gonna kill this YouTube channel, and I'm gonna hold it all on the inside, and I'm gonna kill every single news channel that comes out and tell you the truth that the WHO and Fauci just lied. Now that you know everything about me, let's get straight into this news. That's real. This is kind of something I should have reported when all of this happened, but there's been a plague of locusts spreading from Africa, India, Pakistan, even to China since COVID started. And it doesn't look like they're stopping, they're only spreading. And this can only mean hundreds of millions of dead according to the UN, and a great famine is looming. These locusts, at this rate, with COVID and global unrest, are unstoppable. Expect food shortages in this world like we haven't seen in hundreds of years. This is not good.
Food supplies in China are in crisis amid the impact of the CCP virus pandemic. Yet China state media reports bumper harvests this year, but Chinese netizens post messages telling different stories. Over half of China is now waterlogged. Now, at the same time, earthquakes have struck. According to China Seismic Network, within 2 days, 6 earthquakes, magnitude 3 or higher, hit various areas of the country. 4 of them happened on Sunday. One hit the city of Tangshan, 90 miles east of Beijing. The quake clocked in at a magnitude 5.1. More than 30 consecutive aftershocks followed. About 40 years ago, the same city endured a magnitude 7.6 earthquake. According to official figures, 240,000 people died, making it the 3rd deadliest earthquake in recorded history. Unofficial figures say the real death toll was 3 times higher. City officials called Sunday's quake the aftershock of the bigger one 40 years ago, adding that locals have nothing to worry about. More earthquakes hit in the southwest province of Sichuan and the special district of Chongqing. Both areas are located along the upper reaches of the Yangtze River and upstream from the Three Gorges Dam. 2 quakes, one magnitude 4 and one magnitude 3, hit the areas on Sunday. That's after a magnitude 3.2 earthquake hit the same area in Sichuan a mere 10 days ago. That same afternoon, a magnitude 4.4 earthquake shook an area in the southwest province of Yunnan. 1 day later on Monday, 2 more quakes, this time magnitudes 5.0 and 3.4, struck 2 regions in Xinjiang. A video on Chinese social media alleges a granary of a major state-run grain stockpiler was full of moldy, poor-quality corn. This, along with past history of corruption by the public stockpiler, is causing concerns over the country's food security.
A video has gone viral on China's social media site Weibo, and it reveals the alarmingly poor quality corn coming from China's public granary. A woman in the video said she had just bought the corn from the state grain stockpiler Sinograin. She explained that a lot of the corn is already moldy. There also appears to be large amounts of foreign material like dust mixed in.
无法通过这个视频让大姐闻到这个酸不溜叽的味儿，但是整过粮的就应该知道那是一种什么样的味道。躁动直属库的各位领导，国家给你们拿钱让你们存粮，你们就存这样。
The video prompted backlash on Chinese social media. Sinogreen said that it has sent a team to investigate. As one of the world's largest grain stockpilers, Sinogreen has over 200 billion worth in current assets.
G'day everybody, Giles here from CF Chingara. Now, I don't often do weather lookups or reports for other countries. It's because I know the way weather works in Australia fairly well, and so hence why I stick to Australia. But I've been asked by some friends who live in mainland China to get this information out. There is massive flooding occurring in China right now, to levels which most people have not seen in their lifetime. They've already had that amount of rain. They've already had huge amounts of rain. Now, why am I talking about this? The reason is because of this dam. The Three Gorges Dam is the largest singular water holding behind a man-made dam on the planet. It's enormous. It holds so much water, it has deformed part of the Chinese plateau of that area. So the plate there has so much force imparted on it that it may have manipulated the existing geology of the area. The other thing is, for whatever reason, China is allowing the West to see what's going on. Now, this is a Weibo live stream. Now, over the last 40 minutes or so, that row of windows has, I could see that run there was below, so the water's still coming up, and even in the last half an hour or so, the water's now starting to go out into the car parks here in this area. They've closed all the bridges off. There's large amounts of detritus being logs, houses. I've seen some houses floating down here earlier. So I foresee that some of these bridges will wash away in this flood. It's going to be quite damaging. The other thing that's occurred, which is quite disturbing, is some ancient bridges have washed away. Now, this one in particular, I'll get to the right spot. This is a Ming Dynasty bridge, 400 years old, which is now washing away. So China are losing a lot of their history in this flood as well, but it shows the immense force that's occurring through areas that have not flooded in the last 400 years. So, a little bit disturbing. There's a lot more to come. Large parts of these cities are now flooding internally, and you can see here literally waterfalls occurring in cities. That's the Yangtze River there, and this is one of the small river tributaries that come through one of the hillside cities along the Yangtze River. Huge amounts of water. Now, this is all coming through the Taiwan news. Now, the Taiwan news are renowned for getting snippets of information from China on a regular basis, because there's a very strong relationship between the people of Taiwan and mainland China, because they're all family. And so information does flow out through Taiwan on a regular basis, and there's a large amount of information coming out now showing the extensive nature of the flooding, and that it's increasing. The extensive amount of force that gets generated by flood waters that have dirt and rock in them is unbelievable. Until you actually see what gets damaged from fast-moving floodwaters with lots of mineral rock and detritus in it, you don't believe it until you see what's happened afterwards. There is so much damage. Streets literally get washed away. The bitumen gets picked up and taken away, and all of the rocks that then rumble down, you get a flow-on effect, and so you end up getting this cascading effect of the energy, the water being imparted onto solid materials like rocks and chunks of wood and bitumen, and they're all smashing into each other and crashing things and breaking things. And all of a sudden you've got a huge amount of damage occurring. Now, go over to Twitter, just type in Chinese flood. There is a huge amount of information now coming out, and this is a fairly new one. It's only come out 9 minutes ago. So someone's actually put in the effort here to look at the data analytics side of the pressure bow wave that will hit the dam when it comes through in its strongest form. So there's a lot of information coming through at the moment. There's a tremendous amount of information coming through that the Three Gorges Dam is at risk of collapse, and huge amounts of footage showing the flooding. Now, what does this mean going forward? It means that China's either going to be asking for help or they're going to react. So I would suggest that everybody ensures to continue that they prepare for any situation, but this will escalate China to a new level, is my belief. The China's CCP will have to react if that dam collapses, because they will have been found to have ignored the engineering recommendations of the West.
Three Gorges Dam holds 181 meters in height, 1,355 meters in width, and a total volume of 393 billion cubic meters of water. When Three Gorges Dam collapses, a huge water column with a height of 100 meters is created, and the stored water is flooded and hit the downstream. Initially, the mountains on both sides blocked the waterway like a wall, so the flow rate was very fast. Destructive power is also very strong. The water flows at a frightening speed of 100 kilometers per hour. It is 50 kilometers from Shencheng to Yichang. After 30 minutes, another dam in the downstream collapses, and a flood covers the city center. At this time, the height of the flood will be 20 and the speed will be 75. 8 hours later, Lichang's water level becomes 10 meters, the city is completely sunk. Subsequently, the floods engulf large and small cities around the Yangtze River at 60 kilometers per hour. At this time, the height of the waterway is 15 to 20 meters. The flood continues to spread over the open plains. From this point onward, floods spread in a fan-shaped shape, spreading more and more to sink. The speed of the dispersing flood is reduced to 20 kilometers per hour, and the height goes down to 8 meters. However, the area around the Yangtze River still maintains a speed of 35 kilometers per hour. And it takes the Donghyang, it is 350 kilometers from Three Gorges to the outskirts. It takes 5 hours to get here. When the mountain fills, the peaks turn into islands. Dongtinghu is right next to the exterior. The widespread flood continues to the east. It takes about 10 hours from Three Gorges to Wuhan. Wuhan is 18 to 40 meters above sea level. The flooding submerged the area of 7 meters above sea level in Wuhan. At this point, some of Wuhan's city center may be safe, but water is usually up to 5 meters deep. When the floodwaters reach Wuhan, the surrounding terrain suddenly narrows, making it difficult to distribute water. The waterway cannot go out easily. In front, the mountain peaks of Dabiolsan and Nozan make narrow passages. Floods are trapped in narrow waterways, increasing the depth of water and speeding up the flow. After the collapse of the Three Gorges Dam, 10 hours later, it arrives at Yijiang, 1,000 kilometers away. There are many small lakes in the captain's grounds and it is adjacent to Poyang Lake. And there are many mountain peaks. The water storage capacity of Poyang Lake cannot handle the flood. The waterways continue to flow horribly. And it floods a large area of farmland. Within 24 hours of the dam's collapse, the waterway arrives in Nanjing, 1,500 kilometers from Three Gorges. The disaster ends when the flood arrives in Nanjing. However, in the rainy season, Nanjing is miserable damage is expected. As you can see in the video, this video was produced by carefully calculating the area, residential population, and population density of each city. When each city is flooded, even the depth is calculated too precisely. This is a very professional simulation video. However, no one knows the creator of this video. This is because the Communist Party of China is closely monitoring and censoring.
Bitch! You mad, ho? Why you so mad, ho?
China's capital hit by more than just the virus, now a hailstorm hammering the city, but the shape of the hail taking locals by surprise. A hailstorm in Beijing has sparked internet buzz. Hailstones as big as chicken eggs have been seen falling from the late June sky. Locals were surprised by the hailstone's unusual shape, which some say resemble mini ice sculptures of the CCP virus. One netizen commented online writing, "You have to believe."
The 128-story Shanghai Tower is the tallest building in China and the second tallest in the world. This pride of China was completed in March 2016. However, the skyscraper recently had a very serious water leak incident. Water leaked all the way from the 60th floor to the 9th floor, causing a mess for business tenants. The building manager later explained that it was due to equipment failure on the 60th floor. Shanghai's municipal government spent 14.8 billion yuan, $2.11 billion on this mega project, but the structure was designed to last only 50 years, Chinese state media reported. According to various media reports, low occupancy rates had been a serious problem ever since the opening of Shanghai Tower in 2016. By 2018, only 30% of the building was rented to domestic companies.
You know it's bad when you start crumbling and falling apart while you're trying to do a documentary on said subject. It's like the Most High is trying to show me exactly where and who is what.
children of the light. The children of the light. The children of the light. That's right. Got that joy, baby. You got that joy down on the inside. You ain't got to wait for something to happen no more. You just got a smile on your face. The devil is a liar.
Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and the yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Most High. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
So you can tell him in person everything that happened here tonight. I want you to tell him all the information you just told me. I want him to know what I know. I want him to know. I want him to know. And I want them all to know. They'll all soon be as dead as a wren.
All that matters is now.
Now is a living picture of a perfect day, blissful and ignorant of tomorrow.
Happily ever now.
Until finally, now is the ending of now.
It doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop.
I told you, this is a story about how the world ends. One that begins at the end and ends at the beginning.